Hi everyone, this is Sousanna Pogosyan and welcome to the Basement Tapes. I really am a curious cat, so this is where we're going to explore new ideas, talk about any issues, talk about life really, and where your faith takes you, whether you have faith or you don't have faith. I hope you come here with an open mind and you enjoy this episode. My guest over here is a world-renowned celebrity makeup artist. She is also a musician. She's also a fashion designer. She also is a philanthropist. She also has 1 million, how many, 2 million? How many followers?
Do you not do your fact check?
I do not know the fact check.
I mean,
she has millions of followers on Instagram. And I am so happy and blessed to have Hrush Achemyan in the studio today. In the basement.
Hello.
Welcome, Pelonita.
Pelonitas.
Over here, you have artist/weirdo.
Yeah.
What is the weirdo about?
I mean, do you not know me?
I really do.
And am I not a weirdo?
Yeah, you always kind of have been. Let's go way back. You started doing makeup, 15, 16, 17?
Yeah, around there.
And I remember...
I thought I was doing makeup in my own head.
I mean, you did on my face.
I mean, I used you guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep it
real. I don't know if it's actual use.
Susie. No, I didn't use it. But, you guys were my little models. Because I did pay you. No, but, Susie, for example, I remember when she was, 11 years old, I would, lock her in the bathroom and be like, you're going to be my model. I'm going to do your makeup. And then I would do her makeup, and she's like, wow. And then I would iron her hair with, a legitimate, iron that you iron clothes with.
Back in the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Probably burned her forehead a couple of times.
She still has a scar.
She does.
That hasn't gone away. No, I'm kidding. But I remember you were the first makeup artist I ever went to. I was probably 15, 16 for a Sweet 16 and whatnot. I would go up to your attic room.
Yeah.
How does she still live in the attic? And she would be like, what's the color of your dress? I was like, purple. She's like, purple eyeshadow. So I would leave looking
purple for you, purple for everyone.
It looked fabulous. I don't know why I didn't book you for my Sweet 16. I think you were already booked. You were already
You probably thought there was better out there, but there wasn't. I'm joking.
There wasn't. There was no one actually doing makeup at the time. It was only Bella, Nella, and you.
I remember Bella and Nella back in the day.
They were charging top dollar back in the day.
They were charging $1,000. I remember my mom used to go to Bella and Nella.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Is she still around?
I have no idea.
Shout out to Bella and Nella.
But,
she did the thing.
She really did. She made her money, and she was one of the top artists. They did hair, and then their salons were amazing. But you know who had me on a chokehold?
Who?
Z Design. Zara. He did my hair for Sweet 16, prom, homecoming. He had me on a chokehold.
He bamboozled me once.
He did?
He did, like everyone else. He left the industry because he bamboozled everyone.
Really?
It's fine. Look, Z, if you're listening to this, I don't think you are, but you are talented. He just touched my hair for 2 seconds and charged me $250, and I was only 13.
Oh, that's not nice.
It's fine. My mom paid for it.
You're so stupid. It doesn't matter who paid for it.
I know. My mom's like, it was my mom's idea. She's like, I found the most perfect.
But he was so talented. Anytime he worked on me, it was
Anytime I walked into his salon, I thought I went to Dubai.
Dubai?
Yeah.
Dubai.
That's what I like to call it. But it was like a palat. It was all golden. It's hallelujah. You walk in there.
Yeah, and he would always change up the style of it or something. And it was, I don't know, I thought
he was wild.
I thought the design aspect was beautiful.
Yeah. So, our history goes a long way back. I think I'm going to do a short little...
Do you want me to take over and tell them?
Yeah, you tell them what happened.
What happened? Nothing really happened.
The 1 year where I was your pelonita.
Oh, my pelons. So basically, this is my podcast now, styled by Hrush.
No problem. Mark Garagos did the same thing. So...
I'm going to roll you out the door.
Go for it.
So basically, me and Sousanna, we go back to when obviously I did her makeup in my little room and probably charged you $40. That's how much I was charging when I first started. Mm-hmm. And then Sousanna is also my cousin's close friend.
Yeah.
That's how I originally knew her.
Yeah.
When I moved up in life, from my bedroom to a salon,
Wow.
I needed an assistant to clean makeup brushes because I was getting so many clients in between.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I didn't have 2 sets of brushes. Like now when I look back, I'm like, why didn't I have 2 sets of brushes?
I'll tell you why. Because the brushes that we used, by the way, you cannot find them anywhere now. Really? And at the time, you had synthetic, and I was a brush cleaning queen. You had synthetic and you had real hair. Now you cannot find real hair. It's illegal in the state of California. I've been trying to find them, but I need to order them from somewhere else. But you had synthetic and some of them were discontinued. And the technique that you were using with the products, that was the only brush that was able to...
Yeah. The beauty industry wasn't so saturated back then. It was hard to find things.
No, like that one brush was the only brush that did the damn thing.
That did the little cat eye with the tapey tape.
Yeah, I was your 4th assistant.
I mean, you were the funniest. I'll give you that much.
Really?
Yeah. And I remember I would call you just like how you were calling me this morning. Are you awake? Are you going to be there? Are you awake?
What do you want to drink? What coffee? Do you remember the days where, like, can I just break down the schedule? Mm-hmm. I was in school full time at night at CSUN getting my undergrad. And then Monday through Friday, I was at a job part time doing legal clearances for TV and film. And then Saturday and Sunday, I worked for you. So I was like, I had a 7-day schedule, no breaks for a year. But I was like 23. And
you had the energy for it.
I was all over the place. I don't know what I was doing, but
You were hustling.
I was hustling, but also I had a social life. So I would go to a rave on a Friday night, not sleep, show up Saturday morning, 5:30, because that's our days would start the crack of dawn. So these were the things. So we would have like 14, 15-hour days, right? We'd be like from 5:30 maybe until 7, whatever. No breaks whatsoever.
Not even a bathroom break.
Nothing. And then Hrush sometimes would run
a little bit late because honestly, I was exhausted back then. I remember when I would go home, like my whole body would shake.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Yeah.
So
I would remember when I got a pinch nerve from standing straight, my shoulder dislocated. People don't understand like
the physical
command of like standing on your feet for so long and doing it over and over.
I don't know how I did it.
Girl, you were cleaning brushes.
And entertaining your...
Yeah, I'm making coffee. I'm not taking away from what you did.
Cleaning the floors and fetching burgers every weekend. Because that's what we have
I didn't make you do that.
It was my choice.
Yeah.
The Five Guys.
Five Guys burger.
Like 11 a.m.
It didn't matter what time. We didn't want breakfast. We wanted a burger for breakfast.
Because we were so exhausted and needed fuel. Because we wouldn't have
lunch, so we needed a big breakfast.
Give me a big double, and I'm good for the day. So Hrush would be running late, and I would have to pretend I know what I'm doing. So the bride would walk in, right? And she's like totally freaking out because she's going to be late. Girl, it's 5:30. No one's up. So I would prep their face I would massage their face with Kiehl's moisturizer, and then I would brush their hair.
It was Ambrolise.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then did we move up to Kiehl's?
Yeah, but I would go back and forth.
Yeah. And then next thing I know, I would put like diarrhea medicine on their face.
Yes. That trick I learned from drag queens.
Yes. And I was like, do you know what this is? And they're like, no, what is it? It's diarrhea medicine.
We would like to psych people out so much. And it was like sheer entertainment for
I had to.
It was funny.
And then I would like match their foundation color with the spray. What did we use?
With the Era foundation.
Yes.
Why did I think they went out of business. They were so good.
It was the best.
It was the best foundation. I think it was better than like
tear-proof.
Dior Air Flash.
Oh yeah, 100%. Because Austin would bring in Dior Air Flash,
and it was always too pink.
It was just not the best.
Yeah.
So I would be like prepping the brides and then like pretend to blow dry their hair too, just like if you kept on running late, and I would just improv. And the girls would be dying inside of laughter. They're like, oh my goodness. And then the moment you walk in, I'm like, the brushes are ready. Let's go. I was scared of you. I was like,
why were you scared of me?
I don't know, because no one is in a happy mood that early. And I think I was the only one that would wake up and be like, good morning, everyone.
You really were.
And
you were
everyone,
always so happy. One thing about Sousanna that you guys don't know, I don't think I've ever seen you upset in a nasty mood. You're always so happy. And like one thing I admire about you is that you're such a positive person.
thanks. It comes from my mama. It really does.
Whatever your mama did, she did a good job. Because like I don't recall any moment that I've ever had with you throughout decades now that you've ever been like negative about a situation.
No, there was that one time where I cried at the studio and we were having lunch and I teared up and you looked at me and you're like, stop crying. And I stopped crying.
That would be my response. I'm sorry.
You were like,
I'm like tough love.
No, you didn't even look at my face. You're like, between chewing a French fry, she's like, stop crying. I'm like, okay, do you not want to know why? She's like, I don't care. I was like, okay, well, that wraps that up.
But why were you crying? It was because someone told you to go sweep the floors or something.
No, it's because someone decided to take over. Like, you were paying me, but they decided to use me as their assistant too.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't like that. I was like crossing the line. Like, look, I'll help you if you need help and I'm not doing anything. I don't like to sit and not do anything. But don't take advantages. She crossed my boundary. And then she made me cry.
I know, but I hope you know for that crying, an answer was given to that person without you even realizing.
Yeah, of course. At the time, I was so young and I don't know. But let's talk about real things. That was good. That was great. And then after that, Hrush would like go home and then call me 2 hours later. She's like, hey, you want to go out? I was like, we have to be up 6 a.m. tomorrow and do the same thing over again. She's like, yeah, but there's this birthday I want to go to. And she would like, come pick me up. And then next thing you know, whatever. You already know.
All-nighter.
Yeah. How old were you? 27?
Yeah, 27 years old. I feel like that's when I like really actually even started going out because my dad had me
locked down.
I don't think people understand how strict my dad was. He had me like in a little cage, like a little monkey.
In the attic.
Like literally in the attic.
With no windows. That's what you would be up there in your canvas like, painting all day. But you know that's all you were allowed to do.
I know, literally. Like, I feel like painting was like my form of therapy. Dancing was a form of therapy for me. Yeah. Like, it's like all I had was like, remember when I was in the dance team? Mm-hmm. I went to Recored.
Yeah, when you were
since I was 5 years old.
Yeah. You were a born artist, actress.
I was a star.
You still
ASMR.
That's our little hamster chat. But I want to get really, really deep and real with you. Mm-hmm. So we're in the basement of the St. Leon Cathedral.
It's so crazy. I had a dream last night.
Tell us about it.
It wasn't about me. It was about somebody else. And sometimes I see dreams, and it's kind of like a forewarning. I like do this thing where I put a safety pin underneath like my pillow so I don't see them because it exhausts me on another level. Mm-hmm. It kind of like almost knocks the energy out of me. So I just prefer not to.
Yeah.
But this time it was about somebody really close to me, and I've never seen them in a dream. And like there was something dark that was dripping on them, and I kept telling them to move and move and move. And I saw butter in the dream, and butter represents God, heaven.
I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. And I like immediately called her when I woke up, and I was like, you need to go to church. When's the last time you went to church? You need to have a priest pray over you. Something's not right. You need to go to church.
Yeah.
And she's like, that's so crazy, because I was in the emergency room. And I'm like, stuff keeps happening to you. You need to go to church. When's the last time you went to church? Basically, she hasn't been to church for like years.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people get intimidated with church.
Totally.
And this is like a conversation I have with so many people where they feel like if they did one sin, they're like not wanted in church or, and I always have to explain, it's like, you have to go, you have to ask for forgiveness so you can do better, like know better. You have to listen to the word of God. And I feel like a lot of people that do listen to me preaching that, and I feel like on Instagram I do that a lot.
Yeah.
I get tons of messages of people thanking me, but like in this specific scenario, I was like, you have to go to church. Like I saw it, you have to go. And she's like, I will. But as I was talking and I pulled in, I had no idea that your studio is actually in a church. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wow, if that's not God, I don't know what is.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I love it. And I wasn't going to announce that I'm in the basement of this cathedral.
Oops.
But my other guest was like, I love it how you're in just this basement at this cathedral. It's like, well, thanks for blowing my cover, because I was going to pretend.
I think people should know, because I think it's a beautiful thing. Like, it's like such a holy place.
Yeah, it really is. Thank you. And so as far as your faith goes, you've gone through a lot, and I don't even need to go through what you've gone through because it's all on like YouTube, Instagram, social media. People have written articles about it. I mean, if you go to Google and put your name in there, it just comes up there. So I don't want to talk about anything that's already published, because you could go and read that. But let's talk about what was like a huge wake-up call for you. Like, because you've had...
Which one, girl?
I know. And I've been by your side, I feel like, for each one. Not super close, but on the sidelines.
You have been.
I came and I visited you at the hospital, which I was like, that's unreal. And then afterwards, I went, like, your aftercare was unreal. Just a lot of things. But where I know you've had some monumental things happen to you in the last few years. It's like back to back to back to back. And you made that Instagram reel of like, Lord, why me?
Yeah.
Have I not had enough? He's like, you a fighter. You're like, I am done. I don't want to do this no more.
I'm not a cyclops.
Yeah. And so as far as like, you probably have had many pivotal moments, but today when it comes to, let's talk about the Armenian church specifically, right? We're an apostolic church, and the reason why we're the apostolic church is because the way that we worship comes directly from the apostles. Like, I can't pronounce their names, so I'm not going to butcher it. ESL, English is my second language, but there's some words I can't pronounce. Maybe you could help me.
ESL, same.
Bartholomew.
Okay, let's do this
and
together.
And Theodis.
Bartholomew.
Da, yeah.
So.
Bartholomew. And Theodis. There are two of the apostles.
Am I saying it right?
Yeah, that were...
Two ESLs are trying to say big words.
Hello, Mom. So they, because of the way that they in the Armenian region have spread the word, and it's the reason why we are like one of the first nations to accept Christianity.
We're not one of the first nations. We are the first nation.
I like the way that you corrected me there. Do it again.
We are the first nation that accepted Christianity as a state religion.
Yeah.
The color of our skin is not white. It's Christian.
Ooh, it's, being Armenian Christian is synonymous. I think it's really fun when people try to separate that.
I know. It's like, I think the same thing with the Jewish people.
Yeah.
When they're like, I'm Jewish. Same thing, I'm Christian.
Yeah. So as far as the Armenian church goes, what has been like the most like moving experience of you within the Armenian church, if you do have one? Because you just came back from Armenia.
Yeah. I feel like any monumental moment I've had in church has been in Armenia.
It's holy ground there, by the way.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
I've had experiences I don't know if I'm like ready to talk about in a couple of churches, negative and positive, where I felt like, oh, people should not be praying here. It's not like holy ground. And I think there was like a lost in translation of where they should be praying and like where they should understand. Like for me, like Khorvirab is a very sad place.
Oh, it's scary.
I got rushed.
I don't like the energy
bad
there.
Thoughts and the stuff that I experienced there, I needed to get out immediately. And I don't know. Maybe I'll keep my opinion to myself.
Yeah. Look, Khorvirab, when I went down there, I thought it was going to be this magical thing. And I was like, I can't breathe. Get me out of here. And I can't imagine someone being stuck here for years and years and years and years.
It's where they tortured a very holy man.
Yeah. Have you been to Daltev Monastery?
Yes. I'm very positive. But, the most positive experience I had was a tiny little church. And I even posted about it. Like, I can't explain how small it is. And I don't remember the name. And I don't want to, get it wrong. but it literally looked like a shack. And I just felt like my prayers were answered there.
Doesn't it make you want to cry? I'm sitting here and I want to tear up because
I'm tearing up
because it's so real. I think every time that I've been really, really down, and I've talked about this before, and there's a reason why I feel like I went really downhill, because prior to that, I thought my life was perfect. I never knew what anxiety and depression was until like 7 years ago. And the first wave of it, like, I was like, what's this? And I rushed to Bible study, and I would hike every morning, and I would pray, and I started receiving communion, and I started learning what the divine liturgy is word by word. And next thing I know, my dad calls me. He's like, what's going on with you? I said, if you don't send me to Armenia right now and pay off my credit card bills, I don't know what I'm going to do.
I'm going to go off the deep end.
Yeah.
Not the credit card bills.
So I ended up going to Armenia, and the second I stepped foot on the land, I was like, hallelujah. But there was a purpose why I went. My friend said, do not go unless you're going to go to Tatev. So I went specifically to Armenia to go to Tatev. He's like, have the High Surp, the monk over there, pray over you. Mm-hmm. His name is, I think he goes by Surp Mikhail or Norek. I'm forgetting, but he's amazing. He's still there. So I go over there. It's like 3 hours away from Yerevan, and I finally go there, and it was the craziest thing. I'm going to share it here. I have shared it a few times to my nearest dearest people, but it's like one of the most craziest, unreal, surreal stories. So I'm there and I see him, and I'm so shy and intimidated to ask him to pray for me. And I just he's around these kids and families, and I was like, oh, he's busy, whatever. So it was during November, so there wasn't that many tourists, but there was a few Filipino tourists from Dubai in the church, and I kind of was whatever, just around the monastery, walking around, and then next thing I know, I was like, I should probably go light a candle. So I go inside. Next thing I know, I'm by myself, and the church is not that big. But I go in there and I'm lighting my candle, and next thing I know, my eyes are closed. Next thing I know, I hear music. Someone turns on music, the Gregorian chant in the background. I was like, okay, that's nice. I still have my eyes closed. And then I feel a tap, and I turn around and it's him. And I'm thinking, oh, he must be upset because I don't have my head covered. And then he looks into my eyes, and he's like, can you put your scarf over your head? And I was like, sure. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that was the reason why. And then he, without any words being exchanged, put his two hands on top of my head, held my head, and prayed over me. He didn't even ask me what, when. And then once he was done, and I'm crying, and once he's done, again, no words exchanged, he left, he closed the door, he put up the music a little louder, and he left me there alone for 30 minutes by myself.
Because you needed to digest the prayer and believe. The power of prayer is so powerful, but I think people don't understand that you need to believe, and it will magnify the power of prayer. When you have to receive mind, body, and soul, and sometimes you need to be left alone for you to really receive it. And I think you needed to go and feel sadness and depression for you to come closer to God.
Yeah. After that, I was curious. Ask me how I felt after that, if there was an ounce of sadness in me. No, I was so relieved. I was relieved. That was a miracle for me.
Because you probably felt alone and nobody understood you in the world, but yeah, God always does.
Thousands and millions of people feel that way right now. So I really hope anyone listening to this, you have a sense of hope, even in the most hopeless moment.
The world is a dark place, and you'll find light in God, always.